Welcome to my latest experiment. This is a big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet.
Wipe the head end of your penis in a single motion with the first gauze swab. Repeat this with the second gauze swab. If you are not circumcised, hold the foreskin back before cleansing and continue to hold it back when you are collecting the urine sample. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley prison cast. I'm Guy Pigden.
And I'm Harley Neville. We're coming via Skype, Guy live on the inside.
That's right.
So
live from the drug trial.
How's that going? Tell me about your surroundings. Are you alone? Can you speak? Blink once.
Well, yeah. Look, I can't really. I can't spill all the beans because I don't know who's listening, and also the people that I would be potentially bad-mouthing sleep 1 meter away from me. So, I've got to be careful about being murdered in my sleep. But now I've shut myself in a private room, which I'm probably not meant to be in, which
also known as the wanking room.
Well, no, there's windows you can see right in, so it would probably be not wise. So there's two rooms which are actually not part of the ward which have beds, presumably for other tests. We don't get to be in those rooms. We're all in just rows of beds with curtains that go across, like a hospital.
You're a naughty boy, Guy Pigden. This is like back to school.
I know. I know. And it is because there's a lot of rules in here, and if you don't follow them, you get in trouble. I got in big trouble the other day because I didn't eat my muffin that they gave me. You've got to eat all the food that they give you, no matter what. Right. No questions asked. It's got to go down the hatch.
Yeah.
Whether you're full, whether you don't feel like it, whether you don't like whatever it is, you got to eat it.
Yeah.
And I was I ate some of my yogurt, and there was this disgusting muffin, and I was like, I'm not eating that. And then I handed it back, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I thought the snack was optional, and she's like, no, it's not optional. I was like, yeah, but I don't really feel like she was like, you got to eat everything.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to do it. And I go, well, now I've kind of missed, because you also have to eat between a certain time. So basically what happens is I have to eat at 8:15 tonight, and I have to have my first bite at 8:15 on the dot, that minute. And then I have to finish my meal at 8:45 on the dot, that minute. So I have to have one mouthful at the beginning and one mouthful 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
And that's it. You can't do anything else. You just have to do it. That's the rules.
Wow. Well, damn, son.
Yep.
Do you have a prison wife?
Not really.
Prison husband?
Look, the place is full of people that you would expect there.
Yeah.
Loonies and students. Loonies and students.
As predicted.
And I fit somewhere in between.
Yeah. You're not a student. You're just a straight loony.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But it's sort of people that really are just crazy, and people that are studying or doing something. So I'm sort of in between those.
Right.
On the spectrum. on the crazy spectrum. So yeah, that's where I am. But I've had my arm full of needles, and I gave blood till my cannula stopped working.
What the hell's a cannula?
And a cannula is what they stick in your arm to take blood from you, but they just leave it.
So
leave it in there.
It's not part of your heart or anything.
No, it's like a IV, but it's just like a little thing that goes into your vein and stays there, and then they just draw blood from it every hour.
Right. Yeah. I had one of those in my arm for when I had my bike crash.
Yeah. Well, didn't like that. Did not enjoy that.
No, I didn't really like it either.
There's a lot of lying down. There's EKG machines, there's heart rate monitors, and of course the drugs.
And here you were thinking it was going to be a walk in the park, hey? Just sitting around editing
of course
and stuff.
I did think it was going to be a bit of, and to be honest, it's gotten quieter now, so it's not that extreme. Like the first 3 days were super hardcore. Really, you couldn't do anything because you were just lying down, sitting up, lying down, another test. Now it's kind of chilled out, and you just get the test in the morning. You got to have your meals at the exact time, but you're pretty much free through the day, and then they do a sort of a checkup at night to see are you okay? Yeah. Have you had any issues?
And have you had any issues?
I mean, I don't feel great. I definitely don't feel great, but it's very hard to tell, what is that a result of? Because, this place is, there's no fresh air. It's all aircon, so it's all very dry. So now I'm getting a bit of a cough, but it's so dry in here.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a result of the aircon. Also, I haven't been sleeping well because I'm in this sort of single bed that's quite hard and not very comfortable. And so, I'm sleeping terribly. And I'm not, exercising, and, I'm just sitting around it. So there's a lot of things that would contribute to not feeling great, which has nothing to do with the drugs. And so I think that, I couldn't say if it's really the drugs or not, but I'm definitely kind of just feeling fatigued and wishy-washy. But, is it the drugs? I don't know. I don't really think so, but it could be.
Well, yeah, might be a factor. Yeah, the drugs might be a factor.
Might be a factor.
Well, I've actually got a listener question here. The lines have gone wild since I put out the word that we were recording tonight, and I've got 4 different questions.
Okay,
you heard that correctly. 4.
This is a big deal. This is the most interest they've ever taken in the podcast.
Yeah, it is.
As now.
Yeah. So
when I'm locked in the Bing.
Ben Corcoran asks, which particular...
You don't think that would be Cochrane, maybe?
Well, it's Corcor. Corcoran. Might be Cochrane.
Okay.
He probably says it Cochrane. Anyway, Ben says, which particular superpowers does Guy expect to be bestowed upon him at the trial's conclusion?
Ooh, I would have to say the superpower of not dying horribly from taking this drug.
Seems attainable. Seems, don't aim too high. Don't need to fly. Yeah. Just get out of there. Yeah, all right, cool. What do we got here? Richard Featherston, he says, I'm watching a film called The Subjects at this very moment, and it's about that. He may want to change his mind before they change it for him. Cue demonic laugh. Ha 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 ha. So that was more of just a statement, I guess, than a question.
Well, look, there's definitely a horror film to be made about this place, and sort of going on a drug trial that kind of escalates out of control, and people are doing experiments and weird things. But everyone seems pretty nice here. I think, it's one of those things, you look, you think, it's it's $5,000 for 2.5 weeks, sweet as. fucking laughing. And then you get in here and you go, you know what? I see why only a select bunch of people do this. It's definitely not for everyone. You could see how people would go mental and go crazy and just go, let me out of here. It takes a certain type of constitution to just be sitting around doing nothing without going outside ever. And being sort of pin-cushioned up with all these needles and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, it's not quite the magical holiday that I maybe had built up in my head.
That's a quote right there. Yeah. Well, good. At least you can acknowledge that, I guess. Well, look, you got to stick to it. $5,000, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cash. And I think you're right about it being an inspiration to perhaps write something, or at least write a character, or something like that. So yeah, I do think it'll inspire you in some way. We've got another one here, which is from Sam Elton Walters. He says, I want to know if any of the other people in there, and that's Sam from the Chris and Sam podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big shout.
Well,
I'm sure that's...
I don't know.
Well, I think it is. Well, I hope it is. Well, anyway, Chris and Sam podcast, go and check it out either way. So Sam says, I want to know if any of the other people in there with him have crazy stories about other drug trials they've done.
No, the people that I'm with are all first-timers. So I'm pretty sure everyone on this trial, this is the first drug trial they've done.
Right.
Because there's a lot of complaining going on.
But the other ones are still alive, right?
Yeah. But, so they are crazy individuals, but they've never been on the drug trial before. So, yeah, no.
Right. Well, look, we can keep coming back to this topic. I'm sure there'll be lots of things that'll pop up, seeing as you're sitting there surrounded, hiding.
Got plenty of dirt, but that cannot be shared at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I look forward to hearing about that. Yeah. All right. So, what have I got here? Oh, well, actually, I've got my own medical news for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. I have put up my hand to be a sperm donor. In my latest harebrained adventure, I have put up my hand to be a sperm donor.
Now, to me, this seems like just an excuse for you to go into a room after you've spotted some hot nurses
jerk off about
and masturbate into a little cup. There's no... really to satisfy your perverted designs, nothing to do with helping anyone.
Look, it might be true that it might be kind of strangely arousing in some way. I mean, it's an unusual situation, right? It's not very often that you can brazenly walk into the office and be like, "G'day, I'm here about the wanking."
You go, I'm here for the wanking.
That's what I'm going to say. I promise I'm going to say that. When I go up to the counter, I'll go, yeah, g'day, I'm here about the wanking. So, I'll let you know how they respond to that. Yeah. But yeah, so I've done this, and the reasoning is, an ad popped up on YouTube and I saw it. and the reasoning behind it was, all right, like kids, okay? Kids. We all know about kids. We see them all day on fucking Facebook. I am not in any rush to have them at the moment, and it doesn't seem to me that my partner wants them either, right? So it doesn't really seem like in the next few years we'll be having any kids. Now I don't know when I'll be having kids, and yet it's important to me as a secular human to have my effect on evolution. This is something that I want to do. It's kind of my purpose of life, is that ultimately I have to have some positive effect on the species. Now, there's two versions of that positive effect. One is that I pass on my genes, right, and affect that way. And if I never do that, that's okay. I can still affect positive change, by supporting sort of, positive things in our community and making the civilization stronger. But I would much rather pass on my genes and directly affect evolution. So this is kind of like evolution insurance. It'll be like I'll have like 16 kids.
But those kids could grow up to be murderers.
Well, they could.
Because you don't have any influence over them.
Yeah, but anybody's kid could grow up to be a murderer.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You're not necessarily going to positively affect, evolution with 17 murderers walk around the place.
Well, that's true.
Or 17 murderers / perverts.
That's true, but they do obviously vet the couples before they... And on top of that, the couples that are using this are presumably paying a lot of money to do so. It's a business, right? They're helping with fertility couples and lesbian couples and so on that need sperm to have kids. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good deed. It's a good deed.
It's ridiculous. You would... have you really thought this through?
I've thought it through, Guy.
I don't think you've thought it through.
I've thought it through. I want to pass on my genes. I'm totally okay with just passing on those genes. And it is helping somebody. This is not just, it's not strictly a purely selfish thing. There is other people that get benefit from it.
Yes, but having said that, the reality is it's very likely that you will have children and your body clock isn't really ticking down in the same way. So it's probably safe to assume that in the next 30 years, you will have a kid, right? So you don't need to jizz in a cup and have another 3 or 4 or however many kids
but maybe
come and hit you up when you are in 30 years and be like, Dad?
No, okay, firstly, that's not how it works. They don't pass on the information about who the dad is when the sperm comes from a sperm donor bank. The parent's going to be straight up with them. But anyway...
No, but that is, people do that all the time. They track down their
from a sperm
biological...
their biological father, but that's different when a couple has a one-night stand and then they track down the dude. But, from a sperm bank,
it's not anonymous. They take your details down.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I don't know how those details could be procured, but I imagine that they could be. Because I'm pretty sure it happens all the time.
I don't really think it does. I think it would mean that sperm banks would go out of business. It'll be very difficult to get people to... if this type of shit was popping up all the time. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't really care if they come and see me. Fine. It's all right. But,
You go, fine. This was just one... They come to you and they go, Dad? And you go, hey, this was just one of my harebrained schemes that I had when I was 33, and I was, quite turned on by the idea of jizzing in a cup nearby some nurses and getting paid for it. So here you are.
Well, life's tough, but, honestly, I don't think it's going to be a problem. These people are people having trouble with fertility, they're lesbian couples and so on. They're going to raise their kid up, and most of them I really doubt are going to want to come to me. And when they do come to me, I'm going to say, well, it was a sperm bank and I donated sperm so that people like you could be alive. And people like your parents can be happy. So,
well, also, but Harley, do you haven't even considered this other thing, though?
Yeah, but harking back to this kid, if I do have a kid in the future, in 30 years, that's not the end of the world. I mean, he's not the bloody heir to the fucking Iron Throne, mate. His bastards are no threat to him. My bastards are no threat to my trueborn son.
Jon Snow can come up.
So, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, I guess so, but also, you say you're helping evolution. No, you're not helping evolution because the world is overpopulated. So providing your jizz to promote more overpopulation is a bad thing.
Maybe, but there's enough. It's not that we have too many people; it's that we're too wasteful with our resources and our capitalism and all this stuff, all of our political things, we're all far too wasteful all the time. So we've got enough. It's not the too many people. It's the gross wasting of our resources that means we're overpopulated.
Combination of the two.
Well, yeah, you do have to limit it eventually, but we also need to make our systems a bit better. But anyway, we digress.
Well, that's insane.
That's insane. This is coming from the guy sitting right now in a lab with a catheter up his urethra and a bloody needle in his arm. Cannula. That's the one. In a fucking colostomy bag, and he's calling me crazy for jizzing in a cup. Unbelievable.
So how much do you get paid for that?
I don't even think you get paid. I'm not doing it. If I was in it for the money, I'd have been a fucking lawyer.
And what was Angie's take on this whole situation?
Well,
your loving girlfriend.
She seemed okay with it. To be honest, she seemed okay with it the other day. When I first brought it up, she was like, "Okay, I guess I don't really care. It's fine." And I was like, "Well, but surely I have to tell you, right? Because if." What would happen if in a couple of years we're still together and I come back to you and I just go, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, a couple of years ago I became a sperm donor and now I've got 16 kids. It would be a problem. So I told her, but she was like, she was kind of cool with it. And then on this morning, she did mention something about it. She said she was sort of thinking I'm just so damn crazy. Basically. Yeah.
Look, she has a point. And, I would urge you to reconsider this harebrained scheme. Because a kid is a kid, man. It's not just jizz.
Yeah, no, but it's a kid.
A kid is a kid. Yeah, that's a real person.
It's a kid for a loving family that has fertility issues.
The thing is, mate, there's plenty of jizz in the world.
Yeah, but not
without you contributing.
Not for a lesbian couple or something. But also, I mean, you do have to ask at which parents in their right mind. You don't worry about it, guy, because you have to ask which parents in their right mind are going to go. Needs to be shorter. Make him bald. Hairy shoulders. I want a dad with hairy shoulders. Like, nobody wants those genes for their kids. So, I wouldn't worry about it.
Surely there's no photos or anything like that. It's just...
I'm honestly not sure exactly. I mean, that's one of the questions I've got to ask. I'm only at the very beginning of it all, so I don't exactly know. But, I'm sort of investigating.
Right.
But presumably they have to have a big description, right? Because otherwise, if you just go into the sperm bank and they just... dunk their fucking ladle into the fucking giant pot of spoof and stuff it up there, you can end up with like a black kid when you're not expecting it, or an Asian kid and you're a white couple, or like whatever, they must have descriptions of who the dad is. So presumably they have to take note of level of body hair cover and, balding and any other sort of hereditary interests. So I guess my only hope really is if people... they say a guy's infertile and he's short, bald, and has a hairy back, and him and his wife are like, we want to have a baby, but we want the baby to look like the dad, So I might actually be very popular. That's
interesting theory. I'm not sure if it works exactly like that. In terms of like the attributes, I think it'll probably just be like Caucasian.
You reckon? I don't know. They must have some information about height and stuff because,
Yeah, but they wouldn't, mention bald, hairy shoulders. They probably wouldn't have a photo of you.
Bald is a hereditary thing, so why not? I reckon they might do. I reckon they might.
It is crazy.
Designer babies designed to look like me.
Oh,
shit. Oh shit!
So, I just got in trouble for being in this room.
Yeah.
Doing service.
What does it all mean? Is that the end of the podcast? Are you being like, you're going to get spanked? Is she hot?
I can't
I
confirm
can't answer that
anything
right now.
at this stage.
Oh, genius. All right, so what does it mean? What do we do?
Well, I think we're probably going to have to wrap it up.
What madness is this that you can't be alone for 16 days? Like, what's the big deal? What do they think you're going to do in there? Like, inject yourself with some other drug or something?
Well, I think it's more that this room is meant for other patients.
Right, but like, why don't they have a room where you can at least take turnabout at being alone, you know?
Well, I'll raise that question with them.
Because, 16 days is a long time to be surrounded by, potential whack jobs or anybody.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Well, okay.
But yes, we're going to have to wrap it up.
Well, damn.
So it's a bit of a shorter episode.
I've got heaps of other stuff, but that's all right. I guess we covered sperm donating and your situation.
The drug trial. So yeah, sorry to cut everything short, but hopefully this has been informative to the listeners.
We'll try it again next week, right? Are you going to be able to sneak away for another 20 minutes and like update the fans?
Yeah, I think I'll probably just come in here and wait for someone to tell me off again.
Brilliant, love it. So did she say leave, like right now, like get out? Or did she just say,
well, she was like,
you're not supposed to be in here, but I mean...
She was like, you're not meant to be in here.
Yeah, we heard her. So, but she's not like chasing you out, so like if you're already...
Well, she's not like, get out right now, but...
If you're already in trouble, fuck it, right?
But I don't want to rock the boat.
Oh,
these people feed me and stick needles in my arm.
Right. Right. Sounds a little bit scary, to be honest. Sounds a little unfriendly. I'll be honest. But yeah, we'll do it all again next week. And yeah, see you then, I guess.
All right. See you later, everyone. Shit.
If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Yes, you laddie! Poems, everybody. The laddie reckons himself a poet.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.